Well, hello and good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Live Irish Myths. My name is Anthony Murphy. I'm your host and broadcasting here from Mythical Ireland headquarters and the Mythical Ireland Library. If you're watching, whether you're viewing on the Mythical Ireland YouTube channel or indeed the Mythical Ireland Facebook page, please do feel free to join in the conversation by commenting. We'll do our best to share that and include you in the discussion. It's a cool evening in the Boyne Valley. Sorry, I'm sucking on a mint. Probably wasn't a good idea to put that in my mouth 20 seconds before the broadcast started. Hey, this isn't RTE. A damp day and lots of damp and indeed wet and rainy weather. The rivers and lakes are full right now. Anyway, before we get kicked off, excuse me, and we are returning, of course, to Lady Gregory's Cuchulain of Muirthemne, and specifically the story of Cuchulain of Muirthemne, but specifically the war for the bull of Cuailnge. We are on the third episode of that story, and there's going to be maybe at least another one, if not two, after this one. So this could be, what did I say? This is the third, could be the third of 5. This is the longest story. Of course, it's the great epic of Irish mythology, the great saga known as Cuailnge, Cuailnge, the cattle raid of Cuchulain. Anyway, let me say hello to a few people first. It's 7 degrees here in the Boyne Valley. As I said, it's a cool evening. Rothio Marianne Lopez is the first one to comment tonight. Hello, Mighty Tua, yay. And another day, another Mythical Ireland Monday with Mr. Anthony and all of you. We're very glad to have your company, Rothio. Hope you enjoy the episode. Elaine Dent Lingenfelter, a little bit slow on the keyboard today, Elaine, is saying hello to all of us from a cold day in Texas where it is, shock horror, only 5 degrees Celsius. For the first time in many a long number of months and months and months. It is colder right now in Texas than it is here in the Boyne Valley in Ireland. That is unusual. Wow. 2 degrees colder, no less. Amanda June Haggerty has made it. I'm here. And Amanda June watching on YouTube. A very good evening to you, Amanda. Hope it's not too cold and damp where you are. Michael Pike says, yay, it's Mythical Monday. Greetings, Anthony and the mighty Tua. And greetings to you, Michael. As always, great to see you. Mary Rouse is saying hello from Indiana. Will you have calendars this year? Oh, Mary, you haven't been watching. The Mythical Ireland 2026 calendar was published. I'm trying to remember exactly when. Late October, I think. And yes, indeed, there are calendars. The link should be with the video, but anyway, I'll paste it in as a comment where you can go and order your copies right now. Shipping worldwide. But yeah, they are flying out the door. In fact, let me show you. Let me show you what you'll be getting. The Mythical Ireland 2026 calendar in all its glory, featuring lots of I'd like to think nice photography. Considering I took all these photos myself, I hope you agree. Various scenes from ancient Ireland, mostly focused on the Boyne Valley region, it has to be said. But that's where a lot of our really nice stuff is, you know, from the ancient times. So make sure to order yours if you haven't done so already. We're heading towards the time where, if you're looking for Christmas presents, with the postal rush at Christmas, you're probably better off ordering now rather than delaying. Look at those. I think you'll agree. Well, I hope you'll agree. Some nice photography in there. Oh, look at that. Crescent moon and evening star and moon with earth shine. Clochta, Hill of Ward, the home of Halloween or Samhain. Megalithic art at Newgrange. €15 if you're lucky enough to live on the island of Ireland. If you're lucky enough to live on the island of Ireland, you get free postage. Unfortunately, if you live elsewhere in the world, you have to pay postage. Just a note to the USA viewers and purchasers. After purchase, you may get an email from An Post, which is the Irish Postal Service, requesting that you pay an extra tax or tariff. I'm not sure exactly how much that is. I think somebody told me they paid $12 extra. That is an unfortunate reality of the current administration imposing tariffs on imports to the United States. There's nothing to do with Mythical Ireland. We've had calendars returned because people haven't paid the tariff. And if you buy the calendar on the website and you pay the postage, but you don't pay the tariff, the calendar comes back to us. And we won't be sending it again unless you pay for postage again, because otherwise it's basically a loss maker. So just to explain, that's not aimed at you, Mary, but just at the USA purchasers in general. The blame for that, if you want to blame somebody, lies firmly at the door of the current US administration without getting into politics. That's the reality. It's not an issue with any other jurisdiction. The calendars have been flying out the door, going all around the world, and without any difficulty, except for in the States, where, as I say, tariffs are a new reality that you guys are having to deal with. But yes, indeed, it is true that the person importing the goods has to pay the tariff. Unfortunately. Anyway, make of that what you will, but just be aware of it. And Scott Doherty says, happy Monday, everyone. A very happy Monday to you, Anne. And if Bill is there, say hello to him for us. Thank you for joining us. Stacey Woodward says, happy to have made it. Hi from Saskatchewan. Oh, wow. Very good afternoon. Early afternoon to you, Stacey. Hope you're in good form. Thanks for joining us. Lily Shambles is saying soggy and plus 40-mile-an-hour winds here today and during last night. There's just no let up. We need some of those bright, cold, sunny days. That's what we need. John Main is here at last. Keyboard cut you off in the middle of the sentence. Oh, no, that's not John Main. That's John Inman. Apologies. My apologies, John. John Inman, 7545 on YouTube. John, a very good afternoon to you. Tuesday Thompson is wishing us a happy Mythology Monday. No postponement this week, so it has to be Monday and not Tuesday. But happy Monday to you. Who else have we got? Minus 20 in Saskatchewan. Minus 20. I'll never complain about the cold. It's 7 degrees. It's balmy. I'll be cracking out the T-shirt and the Bermuda shorts and the pina colada very shortly. I'll definitely not complain. Minus 20. That's kind of go outside and breathe and the air turns into ice kind of weather. Adina Sparks is wishing us, or is saying hello. It's a cold day in New Mexico. 45 Fahrenheit. For the Europeans, what is that? 7. Same as us. Wind chill feels like 40. Hope everyone is staying warm. I'm nice and toasty here. I've got my little heater on here, so I'm just grand. Tuesday is saying Elaine's fingers are slow on the keyboard because she's so cold. Yeah. Wouldn't be used to that kind of temperature. Well, it's the middle of the day in Texas and night in Ireland. That's true too. Desiree says, hey, me and Amadeus are driving back to Colorado, so I won't be talking much tonight, but I'm listening. Well, safe driving, Desiree. And hello to Amadeus. Hope he's been a good boy, which I'm sure he is. As always, Brendan Byrne says, good evening, everyone. Nice to see Wicklow has more than Glendalough to get excited about. Of course, Brendan is referring to, I was going to say the latest Mythical Ireland podcast, but in fact it isn't, because another one was published today. Podcast number 25 was about Brussels Town Ring, a hill fort on a hilltop in County Wicklow, which it turns out looks to have been the most densely populated urban area, if you could say that, a prehistoric town, the most densely populated nucleated settlement in Ireland and Britain from prehistory. Amazing stuff. And that's the subject of podcast number 25, published a number of days ago. If you want to listen to the Mythical Ireland podcasts, what you have to do is you go to patreon.com/Mythical Ireland. That's the address that's scrolling along the bottom of the episode and every episode. And sign up as a patron at the Bronze Age level or above. That will cost you the princely sum of $10 a month, or the equivalent in your currency. I believe at the moment, Bronze Age patrons in Europe are paying €9, but I think it might be £8 sterling if you're in the UK. But you get access to not only that, but today's podcast, number 26, which is called Is Fornox Older Than Newgrange? And I'll paste a link to where you can access that. And all of the previous podcasts and all of the previous stuff that's been published at the Bronze Age level and above for patrons over the last 8 years. When did I start doing Patreon? I think it might have been 2017. So in that case, it's 8 years. Let me just quickly check that for you while I'm talking. Yeah, so if you sign up now at the Bronze Age level or above, you've got access to everything that was published at that level and even the lower level, the Stone Age level, since day one. You'll have a lot of stuff to get through. July 2017 was when Mythical Ireland went live on Patreon. Anyway, and that's a great way to support the Live Irish Myths live stream. Because without that support and without you buying my calendars and books and, some of you participating in my tours, I'd have to go and get myself another job, and Mythical Ireland would have to take a back seat. So I hope you understand. Anyway, Rex Fortenberry is saying, howdy folks from a cool and damp, swampish Louisiana. Time to get the myths out. Absolutely, Rex. Glad you're here, as always. One of the, what do I call them? Regulars. Lexi Erickson says, hello, Anthony, Tom, and the Mighty Tua from Denver, Colorado. It's 3 degrees Celsius here, which is a balmy 38 Fahrenheit. Wow, that is cold. We're at 7 right now, so you have a few degrees less than us. Valentin Sava. Hello from Portlaoise. Me and my Brazilian friends love Irish mythical places. Well, brilliant. What's not to love about Irish sacred sites and ancient monuments and mystical places? Thank you for joining us and for saying hello. And hello to you and all your friends down there in Portlaoise, in the middle of the land. Richard Burgess is saying, hi everyone from New York, where the Cuailnge is on her way. They're predicting 4 to 8 inches of snow tomorrow. Meteorologists are calling it a polar vortex, but we know it's the hag. Well, stay warm, Richard, and thank you indeed for joining us and for saying hello from New York State this evening. Of course, your photos are very good, says Rossi. Oh, thank you very much indeed. Mary Rouse, going now. Love your calendars. It's been a while since I've been here. Well, Mary, come here. Don't be a stranger. You know where we are. And don't forget that even if you're not able to make it live, all the episodes are archived on the Mythical Ireland YouTube channel, so you can watch them back at your leisure. Catherine Cleary is saying, so happy to be joining you all from beautiful San Diego, California. Love this Irish community. Thank you for bringing us together, Anthony. My pleasure, Catherine. Of course, this all started on the 12th of March in the year 2020, at the very, very beginning of the COVID lockdowns. Different times. But we're still together. Look at that. Peter Kennedy is saying, greetings from Ballybrigeen. I'm looking forward to getting the calendar. Brilliant stuff, Peter. Did you order one? He says, checking the orders. Did you order one today? Or did one go out to you already? Oh, you ordered on Thursday. In which case, I think they were posted either on Thursday or Friday. Yeah, you should be getting it now. If you haven't got it today, you should get it tomorrow. I say that, and yet on post, there's a few queer things going on with An Post. Somebody ordered some Mythical Ireland prints a few weeks ago, and they live in Navan, which is only, 15 miles in that direction, and they haven't arrived after 3 weeks. So, yeah, I think it's a case of something got lost in the post, which is rare enough, but hopefully it's not going to be a habit. Anthony, did you get my order of the Fornox book and calendar and have it sent to England? Lexi. I don't recall. Lexi, do me a favor when the episode is finished, or during the episode, send me an email, will you? And give me the order number, and I'll tell you the exact status of it. Orders of calendars and books are usually dispatched within 24 hours. But I just don't remember specifically. So just maybe reach out to me on email, will you? I think you have my email address. It's easy to remember. It's mythicalireland@gmail.com. Mariana Dunn says, Banachty, dear Tua and Anthony from sunny Alexandria, Virginia. Yes, the sun is shining somewhere in the world. Mariana, what temperature is it there right now? Alva Kelly says, Banachty, Tua, it's a beautiful tribute to Moncon McGann you did in October, Anthony. Thank you for your work. Heartfelt, and really, really aching from the sadness of the loss. I felt it was important. And I know he's out there somewhere. He's out there somewhere watching, smiling down on all of us who are continuing his magnificent work. And one of his books won an award at the Irish Book Awards, the 99 Words for Rain. And I saw his wife, Aisling, accepting the honour on his behalf. Sadly missed, but what a legacy. And that'll continue for many, many, many years. He has lit a flame in all of us. Amanda June says, I have a calendar already, but I keep thinking I should order more for people as gifts. Definitely. I think you need to do that, definitely. Anne McCallum is saying, hello, Anton and all the mighty two. I hope everyone's in fine fettle. We had quite a bit of snow and fierce winds over the weekend. It's warmed up to -2 Celsius, overcast, but getting colder and more snow coming. Good day to stay indoors and enjoy story time. I'll say, wow, we really don't know. Is it southwestern Ontario you're in? And we really don't know how lucky we are. I mean, we're at 53 degrees north here. Many places on that latitude are under snow and ice right now. We're not. We get away with it because of this Gulf Stream. Anne Scott Doherty says, I paid $12, but I did buy 2 calendars. Don't know how much the tariff is for one. Yeah, thanks for the information, and I'm not exactly sure either. Look, it's not a massive amount, but it's just a pain in the backside. We've had about 10 calendars returned from the US. In one case, somebody I knew had ordered a calendar, and so when it came back, I emailed him and said, by any chance did you get an email from An Post looking for taxes, tariffs? And he said, yeah, and I paid it. So he had paid it, and yet it still came back. So I'll have to take that up with An Post. Mariana says, I'm afraid I never saw the An Post email. The parcel has been sent back to you, Anthony. See, this is what happens. This is why tariffs are a bad idea, folks. I probably don't need to say that to any of you, but they're just a bad idea. They harm trade. They harm businesses, small businesses like mine. And then that's a headache because I have to follow up with these orders that have come back and find out, did the person pay the tariff? Did they refuse to pay it? Did they not get the email? It's all time. And time is money, as you know. Barry Lynn Foster says, in New York State, we have -4. Oh, my God. Close the door, put the heat on, put an extra blanket round you. Little nippy sweetie, as Tom King would say. A little dram of the old whiskey, and you'll be right as rain. Mary Rouse, it says the calendars can't be delivered to my location. So that's a common one there, Mary. What's happening is there's 2 buttons. If you look at the calendar order page, you'll see Ireland, brackets, free shipping, and that's highlighted in black. There's another button beneath that that says rest of world standard shipping. You have to choose rest of world standard shipping and then proceed with your order, and it will work. Sorry about the confusion. But it's a new feature this year. We decided to offer free postage to the island of Ireland because postage, posting a calendar to Ireland is really cheap, as it turns out. So we decided to absorb that cost to try and increase sales, and it has worked. But the little button click thing it seems to be just confusing people. So apologies about that. But I think, Mary, did you say, where did you say you were? I'm not sure. You said where you were. If you're in Ireland, you should be okay. But if you're anywhere else outside the island of Ireland, whether that's mainland Britain, Europe, America, Canada, wherever you are, Australia, you have to choose rest of world standard shipping. Okay. Your nostrils freeze when it gets really cold. That's Brian M. Brian, remind me, what did you say the M stands for? I promise I'll write it down and memorize it this time. Brian watching on YouTube this week. Mavanwi is saying, evening from Wales. I was feeling cold until I heard the -20 comment. Not quite so chilly here, but very damp. As I said, I don't think I'll ever have reason to complain about the cold again, having heard that somebody's actually experiencing -20. What is that even like? You go outside and all of the moist parts of your face, your eyes, your eyelids, your lips, your nostrils, your eyebrows, everything freezes and probably becomes coated with ice. I can only imagine. Nico and Stephen have joined us. Good evening, Anthony and Mythflix family. Tailwags to Coda, Saskia, and the fur babies from Mouse and the crew. Missed you last week as we were tied up with prep for Thanksgiving. We watched late. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining us. And tailwags and hello to Mouse and all of the furry friends. Rocio is saying, in Puebla, Mexico, it is 21 Celsius, sunny but very windy day. Wind feels cold and the sun is warm but not burning. It reminds me of Ireland. I miss it. What can I say? It's the best little country in the world. Brussels town, Hill Fort, says Michael Pete Trott. Good morning, Michael. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. There's another one just published, by the way, and that is asking the question, is Fornox older than Newgrange? Yes, and Michael Pike trying to help Mary with the buttons there, which is brilliant. Barbara Murphy's in the house. Low 70s here. The inside of my house is colder. I need a new thermostat, so no heat. Oh, well, okay, no heat, but it's 21 Celsius. So, hey, you've nothing to complain about right now, but of course that could change. I mean, boo for having a day job. Yeah, I know, Amanda, right? We don't want to go back to that. Johnny Wilson is saying a big howdy from Dallas, Texas. 5 degrees and raining. It's colder in Dallas than it is in Ireland. It's 7 degrees here in the Boyne Valley, and it's nighttime. So there you go. Willie Ford is saying, good evening from exotic Delvin Westmeath, that paradisial metropolis in Ireland's heartlands, that major city. Willie, good crack all the same. Great to see you, and lovely to meet you, albeit briefly at Ishnok recently, but sure. We're always bumping into each other up there. But sure, there's worse things we could be doing, isn't there? And thank you for the photo. Tom Lawler is looking in from his home at the Devil's Bit. Are you actually in the part of the mountain that the devil bit out and spat away? I doubt it. But anyway, Tom, a very good evening to all our viewers in Tipperary. I'm not so sure I said hello in the right page. So kia ora again from New Zealand Tua. It's about 20 Celsius here Tuesday morning in the year 2025. Wow. See, 20 degrees first thing in the morning. Hi, I would take a bit of that, you know. Peter Kennedy says, hopefully tomorrow. Yeah, keep us posted. See what I did there? Never mind. Sorry. What a great name, says Brendan. What was that about? Can't remember now. Ivania Lee is also joining us from New Zealand. Good morning, Morena, from the land of the long white cloud, Aotearoa. I just love that name. What a beautiful poetic name for a country. One of our poetic names is Island of the Setting Sun, which I love. Giaguich Crioso to the mighty tour from mighty Waikato. A very good morning to you, Ivani. I hope you're in good form. Thanks for joining us, for making the effort to get out of bed so early in the morning. Amanda June says, I have 2 photos entered into a contest for Nature Network Ireland, and my husband James just found out His photo will be in March in the Blarney Credit Union calendar. Brilliant stuff. Congratulations to you both. Well, yes, to you both. Catherine Woodruff is saying hello from all from central Wisconsin. 6 inches of snow on Saturday, and it's back snowing again. I'm telling you, I'm never complaining about the cold again. Anthony, my order was by text. I'll check. Okay, Lexi, sorry about that. Definitely, please do send me an email because I want to double check that. Amy Murphy. Hello. Hi, Amy. So, not to embarrass her or anything, but that's my daughter right there. Yeah. No, this corner. Yeah, that's her. My eldest, my firstborn. So, hi, Amy. And I hope you're in good form. And thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, you'll learn lots today. Stacey Woodruff is telling Barbara, okay, that's for Barbara. Barry Lynn Foster is saying, we don't like them here in the States either. It's foolish. I presume you're talking about the tariffs. Yeah. Yeah, what can I say? Brilliant idea, says Michael. Christmas in Ireland. That was Brendan Byrne's suggestion. So for all the American tour to come to Ireland for Christmas and collect their calendars in person. What a fabulous idea. Definitely a great plan. Brian, I need to get a photo of the sun hitting a lone mountain in Ascutney, Vermont. It's got a sleeping lady vibe when seen from the southern faces in New Hampshire. Oh, wow. I like that. Like the old woman of the moors up at Callanish. McKay. Okay, now let me just take my pen. Brian M equals Brian McKay. Thank you, Brian. I just ordered 2 more calendars. I'm sure I'll find someone to gift them to, says Amanda June. Hey. And just as I check, I can confirm that Mary Rouse's order has been received and Amanda June's order has been received. See that live as it's happening. Brilliant stuff. Oh my goodness me. The Texans are forecast for 0 Celsius tonight. Something is wrong. But hey, I keep saying, why don't you shave a few temperatures off those 40-degree plus temperatures you get in the summer and add them onto the winter days? She says, if only we could, Yes, Barbara Murphy, I agree. And let's bite our tongues because otherwise this could descend into a slagging match against certain people. Anyway, in power. Erica Bow is in the house. Good afternoon. Hello, Erica. Welcome back to Live Irish Myths. It's lovely to see you. Amy says, hello. Is Mason watching? We have a thing, Amy, on Live Irish Myths, which is that people, all the pets are watching as well. So recently, and I bet you if you keep watching, that's if you don't get bored, what's been happening recently is that after I've been broadcasting for a while, Coda knows that the camera's on and the light's on, and he starts barking to get out here. And then he gets up and he wants to be seen and petted live on the live stream. I'm not kidding you. You can ask the others. That's been happening for several weeks now. Anyway, and a lot of the others have dogs and cats and various furry friends. Oh my God. Work at 6 a.m. Oh, I can't even imagine what that's like. Oh. Well, get a good night's sleep. And Barbara says, yeah, another Murphy. I know. That place is full of them all of a sudden. Burr Whelan says to Amy, God love you, Amy. You get the dad jokes all the time. Well, she doesn't actually, because she doesn't actually live here anymore. So she's the lucky one. She has escaped, the eternal damnation of listening to dad's jokes every day of the week. Mason is out in the hall stealing the big dog bed. Mason is a cat, by the way. That would be typical. Oh, yeah. I can just picture that. Yeah, where is Coda? He's late for his appearance. Well, I'll tell you. If he hasn't heard me already, just watch this space. Anyway, it's exactly half an hour since the broadcast started. I think I'd better get reading. Anyway, thank you all. What a wonderful lot of interaction, which is always a great pleasure to behold. And how great to see you all. And yeah, Erica Bow also watching on YouTube saying hello. Yeah, I don't know which is more stable. Generally, YouTube is better than Facebook for the live streams. But hey. So at 8:30, let us begin. When I say begin, we're really taking up where we left off last week. So as I said, we're in the story that is really the longest, the War for the Bull of Cuailnge, or as you know it, Toynbo Cuailnge, the cattle raid of Cuailnge. And so last time we finished with a conversation in which MacRoth and Cuchulain were talking. Yes, so let's pick up where we left off. Ready? Everybody settled? Everybody got a nice cup of tea or a drink, cocoa, cappuccino? Not in the evening times, the Italians would say a dram, maybe a bit of poutine. Mine is a sport orange drink to help me keep hydrated. Hope you're all warm and comfortable as we carry on with our story. So MacRoth went back again and told all this to Maeve. And I will not go near him again myself, he said, for all that any king in Ireland could give me. Wow. Then Maeve said to Fergus, have you any knowledge of the terms Cuchulain would take? I have not, said Fergus. But after she had questioned him a while, he said, it is what he wants, that one man of the men of Ireland should meet him and fight alone with him every day. And while that fight is going on, he will put no hindrance on the rest of the army, but it may march on. But as soon as he has killed the man set against him, the army must stop and make its camp until the morning of the morrow. Sounds a little bit like a distorted version of the game Musical Chairs, you know. You can keep going until the music stops or until I kill this warrior. And as you know, we can all predict what's going to happen, can't we? The marching army will take a couple of steps and Cuchulain will dispatch the warrior. What was that noise we had from, was that Amanda June or Lily Shambles last week who suggested the lopping off of heads sound should be kathunk? Yes. But as soon as yes, the army must stop and make its camp until the morning of the morrow. I will agree to that, said Maeve. For it is better to lose one man every day than 100 every night. Well, I suppose I can see the logic in that. And who will go and make this agreement with him? Fergus must go, they all said. It says they all said. They must have said it in unison, all together. Fergus must go. I will not go, said Fergus. Why so? Said Ailill. I will not go, he said, unless you bind yourselves on your oath to keep your agreement with him. We will do that, they said. And so Fergus bound them on their oath, and his horses were yoked to his chariot. Then a young lad, it says Eter Comal. I'm trying to figure out how this would be pronounced in Middle Irish. I think it would be Eter Coval. Foster son of Maeve and Ailill made ready his own chariot. What side are you going, Eter Coval? Said Fergus. I am going with you, he said. The way I will get a sight of Cuchulain. If you take my advice, you will not make that journey, said Fergus. Why so? Because if your pride and his pride meet together, some misfortune will surely happen. I give my word not to anger him in any way, said Eter Coval. They went on then to where Cuchulain was, between Auchan and the sea, and himself and Laeg, that's his charioteer, were playing a game with their casting spears. There is an armed man coming to us, said Laeg. What sort of man is he? Said Cuchulain. He is large and proud, and he standing in a high chariot, and the waving yellow hair about his head gives him the appearance of the top of a tall tree that stands on a green lawn, said Laig. He has a crimson cloak about him with a deep border of gold thread, and an inlaid gold brooch in the cloak, a broad green spear in his hand, a shield with a boss of red gold over him, a long sword in a toothed sheath across his knees. It is Fergus that is in it, said Cuchulain. Then Fergus came where he was and got out of his chariot, and Cuchulain gave him a guest welcome. Do you welcome me indeed, said Fergus. I do surely, said Cuchulain. I told you, my name's Fergus, not Shirley. But if it is to look for a feast from me, you are come. The white birds are on the side of the cliffs, and the fish are in the stream, and the wild deer on the hills. Which I think is another way of saying, feed yourself, mate. It is not to look for a feast I am come, said Fergus. For I know well it is not easy for you to get your own share of food. But I am come for the men of Ireland to agree to your conditions. And from this out, they will send one of their best men to fight with you alone every day. I agree to keep my part of the bargain, said Cuchulain. Let us not stop talking here any more, he said, or the men of Ireland would be thinking you were doing some treachery on them. And let us not stop talking here anymore. That's what it says. And let us not stop talking here anymore. So Fergus went back to the camp, but Eter Coval stopped for a while looking at Cuchulain. What are you looking at? Said Cuchulain. I am looking at yourself, he said. Then take your eyes off me and go after Fergus, and maybe you think yourself a better fighting man than the one you are looking at, said Cuchulain. Remember, this guy Eter Coval said he wouldn't do anything to annoy Cuchulain, right? That's what he said. You remember, it was on the previous page. You look to me as good a fighter as I ever saw for one of your age, said Eter Coval. But you would not be thought much of among trained fighters and grown men. Why didn't he just keep his mouth shut? It is well for you, said Cuchulain. It is under Fergus's protection you came, or I swear, by the gods my people swear by, you would not go back safe and sound to the camp. You have no right to say that, said Eter Coval. Hang on, am I right? Did he not just agree? I give my word not to anger him in any way, were his exact words. You have no right to say that, said Eter Coval. And what you want of the men of Ireland, I will give it to you, he said. For you ask for one champion at a time to fight with, and I myself will be the first to come to you tomorrow. Come then, said Cuchulain, and however early you may come in the morning, you will find me here before you. As the man says, that's fighting talk. So Eter Coval set out, and he began to tell his chariot driver all he had said, and how he had promised to go out and fight with Cuchulain on the morrow. Did you make that promise? Said his driver. I did, said Eter Coval, and I have given my word I will go. And I do not know, he said, would it be better for me to wait until tomorrow or to go back and fight with him today? You will not get the better of him tomorrow, said his driver. And it would be just as well for you to be beaten tonight. That's some advice, isn't it? Yeah, you're not going to win tomorrow, so you might as well go now and get the pull beaten out of you. Turn the chariot and let us go back, said Eter Coval. For I swear by the oath of my people, I will not go back to the camp without bringing Cuchulain's head in my hand. Now that's fighting talk. So they turned back again towards the sea. Sorry. Then Laig said, that chariot that was here a while ago has turned back again to us, Cuchulain. It is Eter Coval coming back to challenge me, and it is not I that it will fall in this fight, said Cuchulain. But bring me my arms, he said. Aren't they kind of attached? Is this Nuadu? Oh, no. Sorry, he means his arms, his weapons. Sorry, that was terrible dad humor. I wonder is Amy still watching or have I scared her off already? Bring me my arms, he said, for it would not be right for me not to be ready to meet him. So he went to meet him and took his sword out of the sheath and said, "What are you come back for? I am come to fight with you." "I am loath to fight with you," said Cuchulain, "for it was under the protection of Fergus you came here." And with that, he gave a blow of his sword that cut the sod clean away from under the soles of Etercoval's feet, so that he fell on his back. "Go back now," he said, "for you have had a warning. I will not go back until I have fought with you." Then Cuchulain gave another stroke with the edge of a sword that cut the hair close off his head, but drew no blood. "You may go back now, at least," he said. "I will not go," said Etercoval, "until I have made an end of you, or you have made an end of me." "Well," said Cuchulain, "if you are set upon that, it is I must make an end of you." With that, he made a cross blow at him that cut him through and through, so that he fell dead. Unfortunately, no lopping off of the head sound on this occasion, folks. Fergus now had seen nothing of this, for it was his custom when he was travelling never to look back, but always to be looking before him. And presently, Etercoval's chariot driver came up with him, and he said, "Where have you left your master?" "Cuchulain is after attacking and making an end of him on the plain," said the man. "It was not right for him to do that," said Fergus, "to anyone that came under my protection. Turn my chariot about now," he said, "until I go back and talk with him." And when he came to where Cuchulain was, he said, "It is not right of you, my own foster son, to kill one that came under my protection." "Ask his chariot driver," said Cuchulain, "on which of us the blame should be laid." Then the chariot driver told the whole story. And when Fergus heard it, he said, "There is no blame on you, Cuchulain." Then he bound the body of Etercoval to his chariot, so that it was dragged after it along the road and through the camp to the door of Ailil and Maeve. "There is the young man you sent out," he said, "and this is the treatment Cuchulain will give to every other man that goes out against him." And Maeve came out of the door and spoke high, angry, loud words. "I had put great hopes in that young man," she said, "and I did not think it was under bad protection he was going, when he went under the protection of Fergus." And Fergus said, "What business had he going out at all to meddle with Cuchulain? And if I went there myself," he said, "it is well pleased I was to get back again safely." Rex, kathunk. Swoosh, swoosh, says Rossio. "Yeah, for the what did it say? It said he made a cross blow at him that cut him through and through. Swoosh, swoosh, splat, splat, dunk." I'm still here, just making food. Yeah, Coda hasn't made his scheduled appearance. We'll nearly have to entice him to come in at some point. The next day, the men of Ireland consulted together as to who should go against Cuchulain, and they agreed that it was best to send Nad Crantal. Yeah, again, the spellings are curious. But of course, remember, always saying it. But in the Middle Ages, the scribes who were listening to the bards didn't know how to spell anything because they couldn't read or write, would often approximate the spelling of a name, a personal name. Or a proper noun, and would spell it two or three different ways on the same page of or same sheet of vellum. Nat Crantal. I've seen that spelled Nad, N-A-D, but it's N-A-T here. Nat Crantal. So, yes, the next day when the men of Ireland consulted together as to who should go out against Cuchulain, and they agreed that it was best to send Nat Crantal, and there was a great fighting man. So he set out, but he would bring no arms with him, but 3 times 9 holly rods, and they having hardened points. Now that's interesting, for reasons that some of you will know, but it want to be paying exceptional attention to everything I say over the years to know why. Anybody know why pointed holly spears would be of interest to me from another story? I've never seen your pets, Mr. Murphy. Wow. Coda has made an appearance on each of the last at least 3, if not 4 live streams. Lynn, you are not paying attention. But if you go back to the videos, you'll see him. Cuchulain was at that time following after a flock of wild birds to bring some of them down for the evening's food, and he took no notice of Nat Crantal, but went on following after the birds. But Nat Crantal thought it was afraid of him he was, and he went back to the door of Maeve's tent and gave a loud shout, and he said, "That great Cuchulain there is so much talk about is running away now after the challenge I gave him." "I would hardly believe that," said Maeve, "for he has stood against many good fighting men before now, and why would he not stand against you?" Fergus heard what he said, and it vexed him, any man to say Cuchulain had run before him, and he sent Fiacha, son of Feraba, to reproach him for letting such a thing be said, and Cuchulain bade him welcome. "I am come from Fergus," said Fiacha, "and it is what he says, that it would have been more fitting for you to spill the blood of the man that was sent against you than to run from him." This is going to take an interesting turn now. You just watch now. "Who did I run from?" said Cuchulain. "Tell me who makes that boast." "It is Nat Crantal," said Fiacra. "What would Fergus have me do?" said Cuchulain. "Would he have me kill an unarmed man? For he brought nothing with him but wooden rods, and it is not my custom to wound chariot drivers or messengers or unarmed men. But let him come out armed to meet me," he said, "on the morning of tomorrow." So Fiacha went back to the camp, and the day seemed long to Nat Crantal until he could meet Cuchulain. But when he went out in the morning and came to the plain, he said to Cormac Cuailnge, I get it wrong every time, don't I? Cormac Cuailnge, "Where is Cuchulain?" "He's there before you," said he. "That is not the appearance that was on him yesterday," said Nat Crantal, for Cuchulain's anger had come on him, so that the appearance he had was changed. And he was leaning against a pillar stone, and in the strength of his anger, he was throwing his cloak about him. He broke off the pillar stone, and he never noticed that it was wrapped between the cloak and himself. And Nat Crantal threw his sword at him, and it broke to pieces against the pillar stone. And then Cuchulain gave him a blow over the top of his shield that struck off his head. Kathunk! There you go. Lots of mentions of pillar stones, or as we would call them, standing stones, in the Ulster cycle of tales. And these are a type of megalithic monument, usually one single standing stone, sometimes a pair, sometimes 3, or very rarely more than 3, that are still to be found dotted throughout the landscape. Unfortunately, there aren't nearly as many of them today as there used to be because, well, over the years and decades, a lot of farmers and landowners knock them over, clear them off into the ditches to get rid of them, so they don't have a hindrance to the ploughing or stuff like that. Very violent episode today, says Ola Conrad. Hello, Ola. I don't think I welcomed you earlier. Didn't see you saying hello. But yeah, another kathunk noise. No, Lynn, are you still talking to me? Because no, Amadeus is Desiree's dog. I have 2 dogs, Coda and Saskia. Now, the reason you wouldn't have seen Saskia in a long time is because she's quite old now. She's 14 and she's deaf and she's a bit infirm. So she doesn't even come out here. But even if she did, she wouldn't be able to jump up. So you wouldn't have seen her at least in 2 or 3 years, I think, since she appeared on an episode. While this fight was going on, Maeve, having a third part of the army with her, set out northward to Dun Saoirce to look for the brown bull. And Cuchulain followed after her for a while, but then he turned back to defend his own country. Wasn't she supposed to stop marching as soon as he killed Nath Crantal? And Cuchulain followed after a while, but then he turned back to defend his own country. And he saw before him Boach, son of Bainblay. That was the man Maeve trusted better than any other, and 24 men along with him, and they driving the brown bull before them. And 15 of his heifers that they had brought out of Glen the Mosque in Slieve Cuchulain. Slieve Cuchulain is the old Irish name for Slieve Gullion, now a big mountain in the county of Armagh. 24 and 15. Interesting. I'm just trying to keep account of the numbers here. "Where are you bringing these cattle from?" said Cuchulain. "Out of that mountain beyond." "What is your name?" he said. "If I tell it, it is not either through love of you or through fear of you," he said. "I am Boach, son of Bainblay, from Ailill's country and Maeve's." "Take this from me then," said Cuchulain, and with that he threw his spear at him, so that it went through his body, and he fell dead. So what is the noise we make for when somebody gets a spear through them and falls dead? So cathunk is when the head falls, when the head is lopped off. So we need to get inventive with the noises here. Good night, Amy. Enjoy the grub, and get a good night's sleep. And 6 o'clock. Oh no, can't imagine what that's like. But anyway, enjoy work tomorrow, if such thing is possible. Thank you for tuning in, and say hello to all the others. And hello, Jez, and to Mason. Say hello. "Take this from me," said Cuchulain. Then he threw a spear at him and killed him. But while he was doing this, the rest of the men drove away with the bull with great haste to the camp of the men of Ireland. And this was the greatest affront that was put on Cuchulain right through the whole of the war for the brown bull of Cuailnge. Just keeping an eye on page count. "Then the men of Ireland began saying to one another that Cuchulain would not have the mastery over them, but for the bronze spear he had, and that there must be enchantment on it, for none of them could stand against it. And they said to Maeve that she should send Ray, or A.E., the satirist, to ask it of him, for he could not refuse a satirist. So Ray went and asked it of him. 'Give me your spear,' he said. 'I will not give you that, indeed,' said Cuchulain. It's funny the way things are worded. 'I will not, indeed. But I will give you other things.' 'I will not take any other thing,' said Ray. 'And I will put a bad name on you. Somebody is scraping the door.' 'And I will not put a bad name on you if you refuse me the spear.' 'Take it then,' said Cuchulain. And with that, he threw it with all his force at his head. 'That is a weighty present,' said the satirist, and he dropped dead." Here we go. Well, you did ask. Hello, Mary Pell. Oh, he's getting attention elsewhere, so fine. Nobody wants to see you, really. Hi. No, you know the drill. You have to come up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big happy face. Look at that. Big happy face. You can't see it. What's the story, huh? Well, no story. What's all this talk of warriors getting their heads lopped off, huh? What's all that about? Cathunk. Can you think of a noise for what happens when Cuchulain spears a warrior? What's the noise that he makes when he spears a warrior instead of the cathunk when he knocks his head off, huh? What do you think? Suggest a noise. Oh wait, it's going to be bark. So maybe we shouldn't ask Coda. Yeah, very popular boy this evening. You're getting too used to it. Weekly appearance. I'll tell you. He knows. He knows. I think that's very funny. That's a weighty present, said the satirist, and then he dropped dead. Well, he did ask him for the spear. Cuchulain threw it at him. So if he wasn't able to catch it, tough ditty, you know. Fwap, says Brian. Fwap. So cathunk and whap. And okay, so was that the noise for getting speared? Yeah. So what was the noise for getting sworded? Swoosh, swoosh. Yeah. Then Kerr, son of Daltach, was sent out, for the men of Ireland thought he would be able to rid them of Cuchulain. But it was hard to persuade Kerr, because he thought it was not worth his while to go and fight with a young, beardless boy. And when he went out, see, that's the mistake a lot of them make. They look at him and go, oh, he's only a young fella. He doesn't even have a beard. Oh, isn't he cute? Yeah, he's hardly got any strength. He's hardly a fearsome warrior. And then cathunk, you know, swoosh, swoosh, thwap. And yeah, they're gone, you know. I know, Peter Kennedy. I'm surprised he can still talk with a spear through his head. What is that? I've seen a couple of clips of it. I haven't seen the actual movie. Is it Buster Scruggs? What's that funny Western with your man? He looks like a bit goofy, but he's actually a really good gunslinger. Well, I hate to spoil it, but there's a scene in that where he has this pistols at dawn. What do you call that? A pistol duel. And he takes off his hat and there's a bullet hole in it, and he's after getting. Will you stop nudging me? I'm trying to talk here. What? What? Look, I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked by a great beast of a dog. A great coup, huh? Are you a great coup? Are you? Look at him looking the other way. He's like, no, I'm just going to just lap up all this attention. I know everybody's watching. You think I'm going to perform in front of everybody, do you? What did you just... Hey, why did you just take over? He's murdering me here. Okay, all right. Now, good boy. Good boy. Yeah. I know. Yeah. And when he went out in the morning, Cuchulain was practicing all his feats that he had learned. And Kerr was for a while trying to get near enough to come at him with his weapons. But he could not, and Cuchulain was so taken up with doing his feats that he never even noticed him at all. Then Laig saw him and said, have a care, Cuchulain. There is an armed man making ready to attack you. Cuchulain was doing his apple feat at that time, keeping 9 apples and his shield and his sword in the air, that none of them fell to the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, the first mention in Irish myth of juggling. And when he saw, I don't know if it's the first mention, probably not the only mention. And when he saw Kerr, he threw the apple that was in his hand straight at his forehead, and it went through and brought out a share of his brains, the size of itself, at the other side. Now we need a new noise. What noise do we make when somebody is killed, when an apple is thrown at their head and it goes through their head, bringing some of their brains with it? We need it. We need a new noise. So we have cathunk, thwap, and swoosh, swoosh. Kersplat or something like that. Anyway, original ideas, please. Amanda June, yeah, we're both on the same page on that one. Splat. And after that, other fighting men were sent out every day through a week, and he killed them all. And one day he said, go, Laig, to the camp. to my friend Louis and say you are come from me, and ask him which of the men of Ireland will be sent against me tomorrow. So Laig went, and when he came back, he said, It is your own comrade and fellow pupil with Scahawk, Firbaith, your blood friend, is coming against you, for he has only lately joined the army and has brought 4/5 of his men with him, and Maeve has promised him her daughter Findavar, and he has drunk from her cup and been fed from her hand. I am sorry to hear that, said Cuchulain, for I think worse of a comrade of my own coming against me than of any other man. Just turning off my little heater there. And when Firbaith came to fight against him in the morning, Cuchulain did his best to make him give up the fight. I think I didn't move the camera back properly, did I? Don't really know what I did. Anyway, he did his best to make him give up the fight for the sake of the old friendship between them, but Firbaith would not listen to him. Cuchulain turned from him then in anger, and to loosen the blood bond between them, he struck the sole of his own foot with a spear, and it drew blood. And then he threw his spear at Firbaith, but he did not look to see did it hit him or not. But the spear went through his head and out of his mouth, and this is the way Firbaith came to his death. Wriggly Squiggly, Barney Lee, Wriggly Squiggly, Boing Paloosh. Yes. Oh, I like that one, Mavanwy. Bash Squelch for the apple. Yeah, you're going to have to remind me of some of these. There's so many different ways that people are being violently killed by Cuchulain that there's a separate noise for each one. So this is another spear through the head, but this one came out of his mouth. So what would that be? Kind of. Somebody come up with something. Then Ailill made up a plan by which he thought to make Cuchulain give up the stand he was making against the army. And his plan was to offer Findavar to him if he would give his word to leave off attacking the men of Ireland. And he sent Louis to make the offer to him. Cuchulain was not very well pleased with the message, and he thought there might be some treachery in it. Do you think? But he agreed that he would meet Ailill and Findavar and speak with them. But when the time came, Ailill made his fool put on the clothes and wear his gold circle on his head and go with Findavar, and he made him stop as far back as he could, the way Cuchulain would not know it was not the king that was in it. Do they think he's stupid or something? Come on. And then Findavar was to bind him over to their side, not to fight any more against the men of Ireland. And when that was done, she herself and the fool were to hurry back to the camp together. But when Cuchulain saw them, he knew the fool, and he sent a stone out of his sling and killed him. Now we need another bloody noise. What noise do we get when he uses his slingshot and fires a stone and it hits them and kills them? Now we need a completely new noise. Oh, this is a previous one, I think. Rex Fortenberry, Garoof. Yeah. I thought you were saying Firbaith. No, Firbaith. Ferbaeth. Fur means man, but Baith, Brian M. I'm not sure Brian McKay can help us on that one. Baeth. What would that mean? Swish, says Mary Kelly. Garrity. Yeah, swish. Gobsmacked. I like that, Michael Trott. Yes, he hit him in the head with a spear that came out through his mouth. He was really gobsmacked. Absolutely, in more ways than one. Swing, swing, swing. Groofsh. Kerplunk. Ping. that very definitely doesn't feel like a very violent kind of word though. Ping. I think you're taking the P there, Adina, if you don't mind me saying. Whoosh plonk. Stone sound. Just the plain old thud. Yeah, actually, that would work, in fairness. And they brought her home and said nothing of it, but all the same, the story was talked of in the camp. Sorry. I missed a bit. So he knew the fool, sent a stone out of a sling and killed him. And because Findevar had taken a share in the treachery, he cut off her 2 plaits of her hair and took them away. And after a while, Ailil and Maeve came to see what happened them. And there they found Findevar beside the dead body of the fool. And they brought her home and said nothing of it, but all the same, the story was talked of in the camp. Then Cuchulain sent Laig into the camp again to ask news of Louis. And it is what Louis told him, that the next to be sent against him was his own brother, Larine. Larine? L-A-R-I-N-E? Pardon me. That Maeve had persuaded with wine and with the promise of Findevar to go against him. Curious times indeed, when a lady should be offering her daughter, as a reward to some bloke for doing something as a favour to her. And it is what they think, said Louis, that if Cuchulain should kill my brother, I myself would have to go and get satisfaction for his death. And tell Cuchulain, he said, not to make an end of Larina, but only to give him some punishment he will not forget. So when Larina came out at the breaking of the day, Cuchulain came to meet him without any weapons. But he took him in his 2 hands and shook him, and left him there with the life still in him. But he was never the better of the shaking he got to the end of his life. Wow. Cuchulain just shook him, and it affected him for the rest of his life. I think we're beginning to see a picture developing here, folks. Is there anyone can defeat Cuchulain? As Cuchulain lay in his sleep one night, a great cry from the north came to him, so that he started up and fell from his bed to the ground like a sack. He went out of his tent, and there he saw Laig yoking the horses to the chariot. Why are you doing that? He said. Because of a great cry I heard from the plain to the northwest, said Laig. Let us go there then, said Cuchulain. So they went on until they met with a chariot and a red horse yoked to it, and a woman sitting in it with red eyebrows and a red dress on her, and a long red cloak that fell onto the ground between the 2 wheels of the chariot, and on her back she had a grey spear. Hang on, just doing another page count because I just want to see where we have to finish up. What is your name, and what is it you are wanting? Said Cuchulain. I am the daughter of King Boan, she said, and what I am come for is to find you and to offer you my love. For I have heard of all the great deeds you have done. It is a bad time you have chosen for coming, said Cuchulain, for I am wasted and worn out with the hardship of the war, and I have no mind to be speaking with women. You will have my help in everything you do, she said, and it is protecting you I was up to this, and I will protect you from this out. It is not trusting to a woman's protection I am in this work I have in my hands, said Cuchulain. It's not going to go well, folks. Didn't we say it so many times? Always listen to the woman. Then, if you will not take my help, she said, I will turn it against you, and at the time when you will be fighting with some man as good as yourself, I will come against you in all shapes, by water and by land, till you are beaten. There was anger on Cuchulain then, and he took his sword. And we know who this female is, don't we, folks? The great queen, the phantom queen. There was anger on Cuchulain then, and he took his sword and made a leap at the chariot. But on the moment, the chariot and the horse and the woman had disappeared, and all he saw was a black crow, and it sitting on a branch, and by that he knew it was the Morrigu who had been talking with him. Sorry, I'm just taking notes here. So, Morrigan is the lady in red, as it were. She's screeches, so a bit like the banshee. And crow. She's a black crow. Well, that's one of her forms. Interesting. So I've seen translation of, is it Thomas Kinsella's translation or Kieran Carson's? Can't remember. But in which this offer is made by the Morrigan to Cuchulain, and he says, I have no time for women's thighs. After that, Loch, L-O-C-H, son of Mophobis, M-O-F-E-B-I-S, very strange. Mophobis. I presume the S, it would be pronounced S-H, Mophobish, was sent for to Maeve, and she asked him, would he go out to the next day's fight? I will not go, he said, for it would not be fitting for me to go out against a young boy whose beard is not grown. But I have one to meet him, he said, and that is my brother Lung, L-O-N-G, son of Emonish, and you can make an agreement with him. So then Lung was sent for, and Maeve promised him a great reward, suits of armour for 12 men, and a chariot, and Findervar for a wife. Wow. It's like, it doesn't place much value on her daughter other than just making bargains with men. And the right of coming to every feast at Cuailnge. Then Lung went out to the fight, but Cuchulain killed him. Now, in this case, folks, we can't make a noise because it doesn't say how he killed him. So we can imagine it might be a kathunk, a thwap, a swoosh swoosh, a kersplat, a thud, and all of the other funny noises that you've been making this evening. Swish, kerplunk, swing, swing, groofsh, ping, etc., etc. I've got for Bernach on Gaelic, extraordinarily strong man. Yeah, but it's for F-U-I or Bjarnach. Bjarnach does not look like B-A-E-T-H. Yeah, interesting. Then Maeve said to her women, go now to Cuchulain and tell him to put some likeness of a beard on himself, and say to him, there is no good warrior in the camp thinks it fitting to go out and fight him, he being young and beardless. When Cuchulain heard that, he took blackberries and smeared the juice on his face, the way he would have the appearance of a beard. And then he came out on the hill and showed himself to the men of Ireland. When Loch, son of Mophobish, saw him, he said, is that a beard on Cuchulain? That is certainly what I see, said Maeve. Funny interjection here. Maeve says, why don't you lick his face and see? Sorry. Then I will go out and meet him, said Loch. So they met beside the ford where Lung had got his death. Lung. Come to the ford that is higher up, said Loch, for he would not fight at the ford where his brother died. So they fought at the upper ford, and while they were fighting, the Morrigu came against Cuchulain with the appearance of a white, red-eared heifer, and 50 other heifers along with her, and a chain of white bronze between every two of them, and they made a rush into the ford. But Cuchulain made a cast at her, and wounded one of her eyes. Then she came down the stream in the shape of a black eel, and wound herself about Cuchulain's legs in the water. And while he was getting himself free of her, and bruising her against a green stone of the ford, Loch wounded his body. Then she took the appearance of a grey wolf, and took hold of his right arm. And while he was getting free of her, Loch wounded him again. Then great anger came on him, and he took the spear Aoife had given him, the gay bullock, and gave him a deadly wound. I ask one thing, for the sake of your great name, Cuchulain, he called out. What thing is that? It is not to spare my life I am asking you, said Loch, but let me rise up, the way I may fall on my face, and not backwards, towards the men of Ireland, so that none of them can say it was running away. It was in running away or in going backward I fell. I will surely give you that leave, said Cuchulain, for the thing you ask is a right gift for a fighting man. And after that, he went back to his own camping place. Interesting, the colours of the animals, in which Morrigan, Morion, the basically her name is a combination of Mor and Rion. Ri is a king, Rion female version, queen, Mor great or big, the great queen. So she came at him as a white heifer, a black eel, and a grey wolf. So there are three colours that, if you think about it, they're not really colours. They're colours that lack colour, as it were. That's interesting. Black, white, and grey. Yeah. Anyway, Long and Loch met their end, fighting in the fords of this river. Let me just see. I'll read one more page. Wow. Now, on that day above any other, a very downhearted feeling came on Cuchulain, he to be fighting alone against the four provinces of Ireland. And he bade Laig to go to Concobar and to the men of Ulster, and to say to them that he, the son of Dectera, was tired fighting every day, and with the wounds he had got, and not one of his people or his friends coming to help him. After that, Maeve sent out 6 altogether against him, 3 men and 3 women that understood enchantments, but he destroyed them all. And now that Maeve had broken her agreement with him not to send more than one against him at a time, he did not spare her men any longer. But from where he was, he used his sling so well that in the whole army there was neither dog, horse, or man that dared turn his face towards Cuchulain. It was one day at that time the Morrigan came to try and get healing of her wounds from him, for it was only by his own hand the wounds he gave could be healed. She took the appearance of an old woman on her, and she milking a cow with 3 teats. Cuchulain was passing by, and there was thirst on him, and he asked to drink, and she gave him the milk of 1 teat. May this be to the good of the giver, he said, and with that her eye that was wounded was healed. Then she gave him milk from another teat, and he said the same words, and she gave him the milk from the 3rd teat. The full blessing of the gods and of the people of the plough on you, he said. And with that, all the wounds of the great queen were healed. Excuse me. Then the men of the 4 great provinces of Ireland made their camp and put up walls at a place called the Great Breach. And on the plain of Muirthemne, called the Great Breach on the plain of Muirthemne. But they sent the cattle they had with them southward. And Cuchulain took his place on a hill. And in the evening, Laig made a fire for him there. And the flame flashed on the bright, shining weapons of the men of Ireland. And when Cuchulain saw so many of them, and they so near him, great anger came on him. And he took his spears and his shield and his sword and shook them. And he gave out his loud hero cry. And it was such a great cry he gave that the Bachanachs and the Bananachs and the witches of the valley answered it from all parts. And when the men in the camp heard these great cries, they thought it was an attack that was being made upon them. And they ran against one another and fought one another in their fright, so that 100 of them were killed in that night. Wow. Cuchulain doesn't even have to be involved in direct combat in order to kill 100 warriors. Amazing stuff. Let me just catch up on the comments. Oh, crikey. Oh, my old body's just not, just, middle age, groaning and creaking. It has started. It didn't start today or yesterday. It's been going on for a while. Lily Shamble says, as much as I have enjoyed this bloodbath, we've been lacking in rabbit holes recently. Yeah, we've been so engrossed, I suppose. I hope. I think that's the reason for it. But anyway, yeah, must look for some rabbit holes to go down. Speaking of which, hey, there's a big rabbit hole at the bottom of the screen. Look, podcast, patreon.com. Sign up, get access to the podcasts, and support Mythical Ireland. Yes, please. Doesn't say how bad his wounds were. He would have to fight the next day. Yeah, and there's some interesting sort of healing stories in Cuailnge. I hope the one involving Cairn is in this one, but if it isn't, we can refer to it from another of the translations. The structure I found is Anu is the Morrigan, Bau, Macha, Nevan are the Morrigu, and Morinia are disciples, of which Eru, Banbat, and Full are said to be at big ties to Cuailnge as well. Yeah, well, I mean, even the fact that she let a screech and one of the forms was the old woman with the cow, it would suggest there's a likeness there to the Cuailnge. No, oh, sweet child of Ireland, even as a threatening young bloody warrior, he's still so funny and sweet. Yeah. I'm still laughing at the noise. Groofsh, hush, plonk, kerthunk. Karen Faye O'Loughlin has joined us just as we finished reading the story. Karen, hello. Good evening to you from the Boyne Valley. Can you imagine, says Burr Whelan, the different noises when 100 men are killed? Yeah. What is the sound of 100 men falling over, wounded and dead? Yeah, there's a rabbit hole. Ah, there you go. There's a rabbit hole. Need John White to count death by apple across world mythology. Who's John White? Is that a common refrain in world mythology, Brian? People and deities getting killed when somebody throws an apple at them. Everybody's asking for rabbit holes. Like, I it's a funny thing. I never intend to go down rabbit holes. It's just something that happens. I sent my son to his room for saying Jim Morrison was a terrible musician. I'm sorry, but we just do not slam the doors in this house. Ah, Karen has been listening. Ah, you see, listening but not saying anything. can't be kind of given out to then, can't you not, for being late or anything like that? Yeah. Clever. Trying to see if I have any more humour. If you bear with me a moment, I should be able to find some. Let's take a vote. Are you in favour of horse puns? Yay. Can't call it straight face. Yay or nay? Now you know why Amy leaves early. You got it absolutely 100% right. I'm telling you. There's just no doubt about it. John White equals Creganford. His work in mythology. I must look that up. Trying to find another one. Quite disappointing, Anthony. I finally did it. I bought a new pair of shoes with memory foam insoles. No more forgetting why I walked into the kitchen. Yes, Creganford. I'm not sure the commonality of apple deaths. It may be an one-off in that manner, but apple relations are abound in the thought. Yeah, well, isn't it the Isle of Apples in Cuailnge, isn't it? Was that where Manannán... was that Manannán's sort of secret otherworldly island? Yeah, we definitely had apples in stories before, but it just in terms of the whole killing by apple thing, I thought might be interesting, you know. A few people laughing. Nay, I'd say. Yeah. No to the horse pun, so fair enough. There was a visual one, but it's no point. I shared some pictures from the coal mining museum visit, and it was just, they were all black. You could see nothing. Yeah, we did the dinosaur books one, didn't we, at the library? Do you know any good authors about dinosaurs? Yeah, Triceratops. I have many hidden talents. What are they? I don't know. They're all hidden. I'm taking up collecting coins. Change will do me good. Anyway, that's enough of that, says you. Yeah. What about killing by cheese? What about the noise that makes? You know, would that be a brie or a camembert or a cheddar? You know, different cheeses make different noises. But who was it famously killed by? Yes. Oh. Who was killed by having a cheese thrown at them? Fun, bloody but fun. Everyone play bloody funny. Everyone, please keep happy, healthy, and safe. Same to you. Indeed. Thank you, Elaine. I have to rewind to see who started this, says Brendan. Cheddar is sharp. Well, it can be. Depends on what way it's. I was going to say peeled. I meant grated. You're mad for the gallop tonight, and yes, says Mavanwi. Owen Owlock. Great story time. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Yeah, you stay warm, man, and make sure you have that snow shovel close at hand. By the way, how are you healing after your injury a while back? I hope you're feeling much better. Groaning and creeping is fine, says Lexi, as it's not kerplunk, thud, sploosh, etc. Yeah, anyway, that is it for... I have to go put the bins out. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Don't forget, the latest podcast is published on Patreon. And that's an hour-long podcast asking the question, excuse me, is Fornox older than Newgrange? Yeah, it would be great if you could just copy that link and just share it right now, wouldn't it? So you can all go straight there for more stuff to listen to. Less humor in podcasts, but there is still a bit. And yeah, don't forget to order your calendar. Pretty much down to the last half a box of them. So they're flying out the doors. Oh, I have to go to Dublin tomorrow, and there's major road closures because of the visit of the Ukrainian president. Oh. Anyway, that's a me problem and not a you problem. Anyway, can't wait to meet you next year, says Lexi. It'll fly around. No time at all. It'll be 2026. Right. Take it easy, folks. Thanks a million. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, Mondays. Just double check the calendar for next week, just to make sure. What are we on? Today's the 1st. Yeah, we should be okay. So same time, same day, same channel, and hopefully we'll see you all there. In the meantime, all that remains. I spent all my money on calendars. I will join the Bronze Age in 2026. Brilliant stuff, Amanda June. Thank you. Kerplunk, thud, sploosh, etc. Good night and thank you, says Angie. So many Murphys. It's so brilliant to see you all. Yeah, let's make it a Murphy get together sometime. 7 threes, as they say in ham radio. All that remains for me to say at this point is Ihawa Kulasov, Slán go fóill, agus tóg go bugé.